Mista.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday.
Welcome to Motivate You, the podcast
sir.
brought to you by Motivate Advisors, Motivate Investments. Great to be with each and every one of you, as always.
Very much so.
Joining me, my good friend, Miss Cassie out of Faro.
Hello, everybody.
So things are good, man. Things are good. Crazy year, but we're starting to see some things play out, and I want to discuss some of that. So,
Yes.
How you been?
Good. We actually had a really good week. I love when whenever anyone's producing and doing well, but they're talking about new stuff that's going on, and we're discussing different strategies and big cases. And I guess that's a good thing. I get a kick out of it. I want to see people moving forward and always doing something. And, we're not going to harp on it anymore. Last year was a little bit, stagnant in some places. So yeah, there's a good vibe, a good momentum going on. People are getting helped. I love it.
Well, you got to love the momentum. The activity feels good.
It does.
Again, it feels, we had a group lunch here, took everybody out from the team to get some hibachi and ate the heck out of some food.
Stuffed.
But, it was interesting. We were talking about how nice it is to be out and about again and to see a lot of the country opening up. But, also talked about some of the honesty where I kind of became a little bit like a lot of people, just lazy for a little bit last year. And it feels good to have the momentum back. It feels good to feel like we can go out there and be successful again and we can make these type of things happen. So that's exciting for me to see that and see that for a lot of other advisors as well. Yeah.
Well, and I love to be able to see everyone taking the opportunity and jumping on it. So, just trying different things, getting back out there, implementing new softwares.
Well, and clients seem to be ready too.
Oh yeah,
right?
For
the public's
sure.
Looking for
I think
help.
they were ready before we were technically.
Well, we've definitely seen some changes this last week. I'll tell you what, we saw so many changes this week just with the market. And I know that I'm telling you right now, Cassie said it before. She'll say it a million times more. If you are not communicating with your clients, someone else is.
Most definitely.
And I'm telling you right now, your clients are seeing news like 13-year high inflation. They're seeing news like CPI, which you and I were discussing earlier today, consumer price index going up at the largest growth in 1 year in history
ever,
which is literally the cost it is to live.
Right. It's bread, it's gas. We've seen what happened with lumber.
Yeah. I saw a person on Facebook the other day. They had 3 or 4 2x4s in the back of their truck and it said, "I hit the lottery." And because lumber is nuts. I mean, you look at people trying to build homes right now. And I have a friend of mine who went to build a deck and it was going to be a $10,000 deck. And now they're talking about it being closer to 30.
Wow.
$30,000
just for the supply.
Same thing.
Well, and the crazy thing with the lumber, and I this could totally be wrong. It's just what I heard. And I'm not a lumber expert, but it's not
You're
a
not
matter.
a lumber expert.
I'm not. I do wear flannels every once in a while, but it's Florida. So that's rare.
I swear on your resume, it said lumber expert, but I got
that was back in my old life.
Okay.
But it's not even necessarily that there is a low supply of lumber. It's just due to the demand of it. I don't know if that's true. Okay. Like the supply, right now people in Florida are freaking out about gas. The supply is depleted because so many people are filling up garbage bags with gas, which
we actually have
is a totally different topic.
I'm not sure if that's safe. I saw a picture of a woman filling up a laundry basket with holes in it.
No.
I swear to God, I saw it today.
No.
Yeah, only in Florida. Florida.
The one that I saw, so a lady is filling up a very large plastic bag, ties it up, and then it seems she has this light bulb go off because she gets excited and she goes to her trunk and she takes out another plastic bag and she double bags it. And that just made all the difference.
Well, that makes sense. I'm sure that's actually OSHA compliant. That's probably the best way to go.
So safe. Please don't smoke in your car.
But you bring up something. You bring up something that I don't even know if you meant to go this direction, but you were talking about the overreaction to some of these things, like the gas issue that we're seeing. Down here in South Florida, our gas isn't even affected by the Colonial Pipeline. Like it's 0% affected.
I think
by the Colonial
6% of our gas comes from the pipeline. Otherwise, it's right off our coast.
It's 6% of the gas for the state of Florida, but in South Florida is basically everything out the coast.
Okay.
So if you look at other places, I get it, but it really became a situation where people started seeing panic.
Yeah.
I'm worried, and this happens. We're all human beings. We all have emotions. Money's emotional. I get it. But keep in mind that you don't want to make irrational decisions with your money either. So, one thing I did this last week was I shot out a video to my clients.
Yep.
And it's something that I try to do on a consistent basis. My clients like it. They
Mm-hmm.
prefer it. And so I shot out a video. It was basically by utilizing my laptop, just like we are right now, doing this podcast, using the camera from my laptop. And I just spoke about what's kind of going on. Right. I talked about the fact that I feel that we may be entering into somewhat of a perfect storm. Right. So we have a situation right now where we did not have the employment numbers that we were looking for last week.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we talk about huge inflationary numbers. We are also talking about printing $7.2 trillion worth of money to do these shovel-ready jobs or the economic infrastructure that they're talking about. We are talking about raising taxation significantly. And, we can't get people to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you look at all these different situations, it's not screaming that this is awesome. In addition to that, we have a border issue right now, and we have been exposed to the vulnerability of our energy policies.
Hacking.
Whether or not that was a private company or not, I don't care. It freaked people out on the East Coast, and gasoline quickly became the new toilet paper.
Oh yeah,
of 2021,
sure.
Right?
Yes.
So the thing of it is that we put out a video and we discuss these type of scenarios. And what I was explaining to my clients, that's just the way that I work with my clients. But I think it's very important to utilize a process that allows you to understand that these type of things in our life are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to September 11th of 2001, obviously one of the worst days in our history as a country. And then we saw the market collapse from that point down roughly 46%. That didn't really have anything to do with fundamentals at that time. It had a lot more to do with people's fear,
right,
and
their reactions.
Their decision to not want to spend money and to be freaked out, which is why we got into a whole housing crisis, different conversation. But it's important to not panic. So when you're talking to your clients, what you want to do is, number one, I would say, is reiterate why you've done what you've done.
Yes.
Right? Let them know why you've done it.
When you're talking to them, let's say
on a one-on-one basis.
From the video that you did today.
Well, the video that I did, that's going to be a little bit more general, 30,000 foot view.
Yeah.
But I did what's the word I'm looking for? I did ask them to call me. If they have questions, call me. Because no matter what's going on with the market, a lot of your clients who may be very conservative, they may be in a situation to where they're watching the news, they see the S&P 500 do its thing, and they may not even be in the S&P 500.
Right. But they're going to react because everyone else is.
Unless we do our job and explain that to them. Right.
Yep.
So what I was able to do with the video is let people kind of know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I basically said to them was, I'm not telling you to panic right now. I'm not telling you to make any changes right now. But what I am asking you to do, Mr. and Mrs. Client and Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, because we sent it across the board, is what I'm asking you to do is take inventory. Take inventory as to where you are right now, especially with regards to your risk threshold. Because over the last decade and change, there's been so much pressure on the bond market, the safe money market. There just hasn't been a lot of yield from that type of scenario.
Right.
So many people, especially retirees, are kind of almost forced into a risk threshold that they're not really comfortable with. And with all due respect, it really hasn't hurt them. They haven't felt that pain of what it's capable of doing, good or bad, within the last 10 plus years. There's been some scary stuff. There's been some warning signs. We had the V-shaped recovery during the initial part of the pandemic. But the thing that was different about that, in my opinion, is that we had fundamentals that backed up a recovery that was strong. Right now, things are not looking awesome. Things are looking a little bit hairy, right? So what I'm explaining to my clients is, every one of you that's listening, that's done work with our firm, you're now at a point where you just need to really reevaluate and make sure that the risk threshold that you had when we met, the risk threshold that you had last time we had an appointment, is still the one that you're really comfortable with, knowing what you know now. Because contrary to popular belief, there's the old saying of knowledge is power. That's complete baloney if you don't implement something from it.
I was reading an article that was saying the same thing not too long ago.
It was not my article.
No, it wasn't your article.
Someone else stole my idea.
Maybe it was from like 1980, but
right when you were born?
Yes. Oh, how did you say that?
Because we all know you're
Everyone
younger
knows
than
I'm
that.
old.
I was trying to save you there, and now you just told me.
Well, and you discuss, your risk tolerance as well. And I always think it's important when you're talking to your clients, your risk tolerance does not necessarily only have to deal with the market.
That's a
like
really good
when you're
point.
discussing diversification, It's not just the market. It can be taxes. It can be safe money. Same thing with your risk. Same thing when you're discussing a portfolio. The portfolio doesn't necessarily mean just what is in the market. They want to look at their assets as a whole and then take each of those pieces into consideration to really find out what is their risk and what are they willing to be risky with.
Yeah, and that brings up another valid point. I spoke with an attorney this week, and we spoke with 60 advisors last week. We were over in the Tampa area, and we were talking to a lot of advisors, and we said to them, look, you need to make sure you're sharpening your sword on the whole aspect of estate planning and techniques,
Right.
because this could be a big change in the tax proposals too. And then I got back, started speaking with an estate attorney friend of mine in this area, and he said, not only that, he goes, it might, for some of these things, it might be too late. It might be too late to make these adjustments. The clients out there that are between, the $3 million to $10 million range are the ones that are really freaking out right now, because everyone above and beyond the threshold that we've seen over the last number of years, they've been doing the planning for a while.
Yeah, they've already taken care of it.
But now we're looking at this coming back to bite some people. So, I've never, to your point of the market not being the only risk, I've never had a widow or a widower walk into my office and say, hey, Mike, so-and-so passed away. How did the Dow Jones end that day?
Right.
That's never been the conversation.
Concern.
The conversation is, so-and-so passed away. Can I make it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough for me? Is everything we planned on still in the right spot?
Right.
That's why it's important for you, Mr. and Mrs. Advisor, listening to this podcast right now, to do your job and make sure that you're reiterating why you did what you've done and why the power is behind the planning aspect, rather than just throwing them in something, hoping for the best.
And ensuring that's exactly where they're supposed to be as well. If someone hasn't looked at an allocation a while or rebalanced their portfolio and they're just kind of winging at this point, their lives could have changed. Everyone's life changed really fast last year on a daily basis, knock on wood, but our lives can change. Is your plan evolving as well? And you as the advisor, are you paying attention to these things and making sure that you're evolving with your client?
Yeah, those are all really good things. And, we do speaking events in front of clientele as well. And it's very common that we find one partner, if there's a husband and wife or, a partnership or whatever you got going on in a room, one of them usually pretty conservative. One of them is usually pretty, aggressive.
Right.
And it's important to understand why it's going to be that way for each person. And normally it comes from a good place. They're both trying to do what's the loving thing for each other. But oftentimes their ideas may actually conflict with each other and not really put them in a good place. So this is a good opportunity right now. Use this as a warning shot. We had a rough day on Wednesday, had a good day on Thursday. Friday's still up in the air. We're not even at the end of the day yet, but use this as a warning shot to kind of remind your clients that it's not always a set it and forget it type of deal. That's why we use the 8 elements of financial control. It's an 8 because it's the infinity symbol. Your plan is never fully done. And while you want something to be structured that your clients can count on, you also need to know that when life throws us curveballs, we're able to still hit them out of the park.
Right.
As well.
It has to be flexible and nimble to meet their needs.
So we're sending stuff to people.
Yep.
Your very favorite way of doing it is obviously going to be, I'm assuming, video.
Video. It is.
And why?
So, and we talk about video a lot, and I think I've mentioned it before. Whenever we're talking about video, guys, I always want to clarify that I'm not talking about a professionally done commercial, a professionally done video. We've read studies and we've actually seen it to be true that your normal consumer is going to want an organic video. Everybody is used to it now. You've been doing Zoom on your laptop. You've been, you record on your phone constantly. The clarity is great. The pixels are great. It's easy to host. So these videos can be shot very simply in your office. And reason being is, and I, have stats, but the majority of people now, when they are online and they're on social media or on the website, they're looking for a video. If the video catches enough of their attention, then they might go in and read an article or, do a little bit of research. But the first engagement that is highest right now across all platforms is video.
Yeah. What did you say? I think last week you mentioned a quote. There's 1 billion views on YouTube a day.
Yeah.
Or 8 billion. It's 8 billion a day, I think is what you said.
What was that one? I was looking at my stats too. I think it was 8 billion. But they said by the end of 2019, 80% of all consumer internet traffic was video.
80%?
80%. Yeah, YouTube insane. Reported mobile video consumption rises 100% every year. Oh yeah. And then Facebook generates 8 billion video views on average a day. 8 billion. That's ridiculous.
So, I mean, think of how many people, what the reach would be. I mean, back in the day, if you think about this from a marketing standpoint now, Cassie, I mean, those type of numbers were the only numbers that big dogs could use.
Oh yeah,
When you're
for
talking, you'd have to
sure.
be a huge corporation to be able to
Tons of
reach.
money.
Yeah, money. You'd be a huge corporation, spend it,
Yes.
structure it, and you'd have, trying to get the market share. There's a place for us as independent advisors to go out there and get this market share and get our information out. I mean, I know from yesterday, just the one I sent out yesterday, I had over 20% opens.
Oh yeah.
People watching the video and not all of them are clients of mine. There's several people who are prospects who I'd be willing to bet are wanting to talk to someone about these type of situations. In fact, we were just referred a client, a very, very large client that was referred to us by another client.
Yes.
They happen to be relatives. And the large client was referred to us by their brother because their brother was discussing about how often we stay in touch with them.
Yep.
He was talking about how often we bring them new insights as far as what's going on with the world right now. And they're saying that their broker or their advisor up in New York never even calls them.
Right. Well, and when you talk about efficiency, what better way to talk to your whole entire database, all of your prospects, all of your clients in one video? And you can shoot it enough that they feel that you're speaking to them, but you're speaking on a generalized basis, always staying within compliance, provide information, no suggestions or anything like that. But it's true. And also when you're talking about emails, so, your videos we talk about on social media a lot, but when you put a video in your email, it has a better open rate and a better view rate as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And I mean, there's not much of an easier way to communicate with people.
Well, and then if you have a good open rate with your email, you start getting a better reputation score with the email providers. So more of your emails end up going to the inbox versus the junk box. I mean, all these things have such an important component to them.
Yeah. And it's almost like a ripple effect.
Oh, absolutely.
If you how they all work together.
The old saying, if you put junk out, junk comes back at you.
Right.
So yeah, video is a gigantic spot of it. Now, you don't, like you said earlier, you don't need to have a gigantic studio. However, you can go out, get a green screen set up with a camera and everything for less than $1,000 and be ready to rock and roll. I mean, you can do these things for a reasonable amount of time.
And I mean, even for our symposium, this was obviously in January, so webinars were still a thing. Remember, we bought everyone the chair green screens that they just attached to the back of your chair, and then you have a green screen behind you. And you don't, if you have a nice office, don't even sweat using the green screen.
No, you don't need to.
Position it nicely, and then being able to get them out. So you have Vimeo, which is a free version. So what you do is you download your video, you upload it to Vimeo. It provides you with a link that you can share, copy and paste that bad boy. You can have analytics. You can edit it a little bit. There's Loom, which is a free version.
I do like Loom. There's a paid version too, right?
There's paid version. Yeah. Loom is super easy again, and you can record your screen and your camera at the same time. So I actually use Loom a lot for our advisors for videos. Right. So if I'm teaching them how to do something, and it's easier for me to show them. I'll record a quick 2-minute video and I send it to them like, this is awesome,
right?
Because then I'm being efficient with my time. They can see it over and over again. I can utilize it for other people, and I'm literally taking 2 minutes to shoot it.
Yeah, Banjoro is a good one. Banjoro is very similar to Loom, where you can actually embed the video into an email, so it shows like a GIF or GIF, whatever you want to call it. Bomb. It's not just what Ricky Martin sings about.
Shake bum bum.
You knew it. You knew it. See, that's why this podcast works. Right there. Shake it bomb bomb. Shake it bomb bomb. Shake it bomb bomb. I'm a desperate. Just me.
Okay, next.
That's the only part you knew. I knew probably. I was going to the verse.
All I would do is shake.
But yeah, so so there are so many different things and tools that you can use now. And then there's other softwares like Social Pilot. Social Pilot's a great software. I think it's HubSpot is another one that we've used. Good. Social Pilot's great though, because you can pick all these different platforms, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The gram, as the kids call it.
The gram.
You can put all those and then put one post up, send it, and it goes out to everybody.
Right. Similar to like Hootsuite.
Yeah. And it's very, very reasonable. And it makes your time so much more efficient and to be able to get these things out. So what do you want to talk about? Well, if you have an RA like ours, like Motivate Investments, we give our advisors talking points every single week, almost every single day, actually. So almost every day we're sending out talking points as far as what's going on, so that they're really equipped to answer questions for clients as they're coming in saying, hey, what about this? What about that? What about Bitcoin? You know, all these
Well,
different
it's almost
things.
like a preemptive strike.
Yeah. And you just need to be knowledgeable as far as what's kind of going on right there. So if your investment advisory firm's not doing that, feel free to reach out to us. We've been happy to show you how we do it.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So video's good, software's good. And then the main thing is, how often should they be doing it?
Yeah. And I mean, really, that's going to be ideally a video on a weekly basis would be great. Changing your
Is
subject,
that really
changing
ideally,
your
or are
content.
you slowing it down because we know that it's hard when you're busy as an entrepreneur?
Well, that's if you're getting started, I would say try and do one a week. And then obviously it's always going to depend on what's going on.
Mhm.
If something happens, we know this week was tough. There's a lot of things up in the air, like you mentioned. There's more and more that's just kind of evolving that needs to be discussed. If something happens, those should go out on a regular basis. We did when the market, took a little bit of a plunge last year. We immediately got a video out. And I remember the clients came back and they were like, thank you so much. And they were just emailing us. I was really concerned. You really clarified. I feel better. And 2 people booked an appointment because everybody else got their answer from the video, and if they book an appointment, that's great. You're just reiterating that relationship and that plan.
Well, they booked it with me, not with someone else.
Right. Yeah. But we're talking about efficiency. You're making your clients feel warm and fuzzy.
Well, and it's important. If they've entrusted us with this whole scenario, we have to be able to do that. So I think where it becomes very difficult, the video thing becomes very difficult, is 2 things. One would be content. So one place I'm going to recommend everyone goes and looks up is something called Google Trends. When we were speaking with the advisors last week in Tampa, we pointed this out, where we looked at 4 different conversational points.
Oh, I can't share my screen, huh?
No, but that's okay. We can still talk about it.
Had it.
Number 1 was guaranteed income. Number 2 was annuity. Number 3 was investments.
Right.
And all of those, as far as interest from the public, were very, very low.
What the actual
they were there.
Search numbers were.
Yeah, I mean, they were there. People searched for it, but it was not a big deal. When we typed in the word taxation, it flew off the chart, completely skewed everything up, and showed right now one of the largest issues for people, or concerns at least for people, is how are the new tax laws that are being proposed, nothing's done, but how are they going to impact them?
100%.
So if you're going out there right now and you're pitching, or your content is not based upon something that's important to your clientele, your prospects, guess what?
They're not coming in.
They're not coming in.
They're not going to engage with it.
They don't want to do that. They want to know how you're going to help them on something that's important to them. And one thing that's important to realize is taxation is the great unifier. It's the one thing that brings everyone together, brings the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, everyone that's going to be in their world. No one wants to pay more than they have to for taxation.
Nobody wants to pay. Yeah, exacy.
They
want to save what they can. It's true.
The next thing, though, when it comes to video, and I gotta be honest with you, I look at the videos all the time. I look at TikTok, Instagram, all the different things out there. There are some really horrible people out there, and some of the things that people say to you when you put videos out.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, it's just really, really intimidating, and being kind of like, I don't really want the trolls coming after me. I don't really want the trolls to attack me.
Well, I was thinking of it 2 different ways when you were saying, number 1 is definitely content. And then the second thing that we have to overcome is just our fear of being uncomfortable. But the uncomfortableness, that also, makes it worse, knowing that, God, someone's going to say something. Someone says, oh my God, look at his hair, or lack thereof. No.
Wow. Look at the hair in his ears. That's the only place it grows now.
Yeah.
I wonder how often he has to trim his nose.
They're what was it on Lethal Weapon 4? It's Friday. On Lethal Weapon 4 when he's calling Danny DeVito. Or no, Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Oh, you're a telephone tough guy, eh? Everyone's like a social media tough
keyboard
guy.
warrior.
Keyboard warrior.
Yeah, same idea. Well, and so I think that's part of it, because it can take. I'm going to tell you right now, doing video when you're talking to an invisible audience. Okay, that's probably number 3, I guess, or part of the fear.
Yes.
Doing video in front of the invisible audience can take the most confident person in the entire world and make them extremely humble very, very, very quickly. Because you could say things that you didn't mean to say. You can come across different ways. For me, I'm sitting here talking to you. We're in the same room right now, just talking. We're able to have this conversation and kind of go through this, but it is different when you're in front of people talking on the camera like this, and you're trying to discuss the importance of tax efficiency and diversification within your taxation, whatever you're actually talking about. So,
Right.
those are all different things. So here's what I'm going to recommend to you on that, just from someone who spends most of my time doing the camera stuff out of everybody in my office, is just practice it.
Get comfortable
Just practice
with it.
Be comfortable with it. Be you.
Yes.
Don't try to do anything differently than just be you. Your clients that you work with right now connected to you. They didn't connect to fake you. They connected to you. They connected to being able to work with someone they could trust and that really understood them. So I think those are all really important things when you're looking at that.
Definitely be genuine. And people, they can read it or not. Well, and speaking of reading, don't read a script. And that kind of goes into being genuine. When we say that we give our advisors scripts, they're more bullets. You guys are the professional. You should be able to elaborate on a topic and be able to discuss it, in an educational manner, and not have to read something. So at first, if you have a few little bullet points to keep you on track, that's completely fine. But remember, as much as it is in real life, eye contact is important in a video. Make sure your camera's, set up to your height. You don't want to be doing one of these or looking down on someone, all these little,
I demonstrated for you.
I did it too.
Yeah, we both went,
but sorry, we're filming this as well. If you think we're just kind of
no, but you bring out a good point. I was watching a woman the other day who was talking, and she was speaking at like a city council meeting. She was incredible, like just passionate, articulate, incredibly well spoken. And so they brought her on television to talk to her about the speech that she gave, and she tried to script it. And when she was trying to script it, she was just like,
she lost it.
And she, and the guy who was on TV was like, look, this is the hardest thing for most people to do, is to be on camera.
And, he even called her out.
Well, he's like, so he goes, do me a favor, put the script down.
Wow.
He said, you are so passionate. You're so articulate. Just be you.
Right.
And let's not have this conversation. So with the script, let's have this conversation real, because you're a real person. Let's have it.
Yeah.
And it went much better at that point. And so one thing you may want to look at before you start doing Facebook Lives, before you start doing live events, before you start doing webinars, is maybe practice with a couple that you can delete.
Yeah.
Record them. If you hate the way it goes over, delete it. You'll become better. And you will also learn that with this, less is more.
Yes. Short, to the point, sweet. If you're sending out a quick video, I would suggest no more, max, 3 to 4 minutes max. And then another tip, if you're really uncomfortable talking to yourself, if you have a team member, a spouse, someone that can sit in the room with you. Now, this can go two different ways.
I might disagree with this one.
It can embarrass the heck out of you, or it gives you someone to kind of interact with. They might, shake their head at you. You're going to make that eye contact. If it's someone that you're comfortable with, it might ease a little bit of that anxiety, or it'll make you more nervous.
Or it can absolutely,
We've
ruin
done
you.
Both.
No, but she's right. I mean, I've done a lot of webinars, and when we first started doing a lot of the webinars, Cassie would be in the office, or we would have other team members that would be with me on that. So I felt like at least I was talking to a human being. It's a great place to start. Normally, though, when Cassie's in there now, she just makes fun of me, and so it makes it harder to take it seriously. But no, it really is, and these are all important things. I'm just telling you, your clients are looking for you. And this is just a really great way to leverage your time, get a lot of really great information, a lot of great content out there, build a tremendous amount of credibility with your audience, and grow your practice that way. It can be phenomenal.
And even, you kind of mentioned it too, repurpose it. So if you send a video out to your clients and you're putting it in an email, put it on all of your social media platforms. Mike mentioned, some great tools earlier that can help you do that very efficiently, all in one quick swipe. So use all these things in a different way. It's only going to benefit you. It's not going to hurt you as long as you're staying compliant.
If this is overwhelming, Motivate can help you.
Yes,
this
most
is
definitely
something that Motivate Advisors. We are an agent development organization. We have the RA, we have the FMO side. We are able to help our advisors, and our real goal is to do exactly what we're discussing, help bring you value and help you take your business to the next level
and actually implement it. That's, one thing, unfortunately, I hear a lot of other organizations, they have these great ideas, but they don't actually teach someone how to implement it. Like we just went through a bunch of different softwares and tactics and tools. Those are the pieces that you need to actually make it tangible and real. You can have a camera, you can have content, but if you don't take the time to do it correctly and then actually get it out to somebody, you're kind of missing the boat.
Yeah. So you might want to ask yourself, what is your current organization doing to help you with your profitability? What is your current organization doing to have these type of discussions?
Sure.
What are they doing to help support you with this type of scenario? I know there's a lot of organizations out there that have huge green screen rooms and do all these different things, but they may be costing thousands and thousands of dollars to do them. And oftentimes, if you're not, and we talked to one advisor from Arizona that was looking at coming on board with us because he wanted to do videos at his FMO's studio, and they wouldn't let him, even though he wanted to pay for it, because they said it just wasn't worth their time because he wasn't doing enough production for them. Well, how do they expect him to get to the point where he's doing production?
Right. Chicken and the egg.
It's just a really odd way that our industry's working right now.
Yeah,
so
that was interesting.
Yeah. So if that's something you need help with, give us a shout. We're more than happy to help you. How do they get a hold of you, Cass?
So guys, you can reach us by phone, is always easy, 772-247-4488. Feel free to email me directly, Cassie, Cassie at motivate, MOTIV, the number 8, advisors.com.
Love it. And also do me a favor, keep the comments coming. We love getting emails back from everybody. Let us know.
Don't be mean trolls. Don't make fun of my hair.
They can't make fun of mine. I don't have any, so it works out well. But no, we'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, what you also want to hear about.
Yes, new topics that you want, that'd be great.
The whole purpose of this show is to help you all elevate your business to the next level. So let's give us some ideas of what you want to discuss.
Yeah, help us help you.
We've done it, and we're happy to do it more and more and more. So as always, for Cassie out of Farrell, my name is Mike Terrio. Thank you so much for joining us here on Motivate You, brought to you by Motivate Advisors, Motivate Investments. Feel free to check out either site at www.motivateadvisors.com or motivateinvestments.com. That's MOTIV, the number 8. Have a great weekend. We'll be talking to you soon. Take care now.